Next on Sisterhood of the Second Act.
There is a new option for women's health care in the Roanoke region. New Horizons Healthcare has opened a new location and with it, Well Women Care. Nurse practitioner Terry Gibson shares the details. Shelley Olds was 26 when she started cycling. A competitive athlete her whole life, it didn't take long for her to try her hand at racing. Her competitive career includes a spot on the U.S. Olympic team and professional races all over the world. Now she is on a new journey and is here to tell us all about it. We'll meet both women on this edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act, right after this.
Sisterhood of the Second Act is brought to you by Pat Lucas is committed to providing independent financial advice to individuals, families, and small businesses. Contact Pat at 540-798-8104. 540-798-8104. Securities and investment advisory services are offered solely through Equity Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, 4401 Starkey Road, Roanoke, Virginia 24018, 540-989-4600. Step out the door with confidence, ready to conquer the day. Whether you are going to the cafe down the street or headed into work, you know you will always look your best in Cabby Styles. Your stylist, Darlene Marshall, will help you pick the styles that make you sparkle. And Cabby has styles for all body types. Call Darlene at 540-330-6819, 540-330-6819, and follow her on Instagram at Dapper Darlin.
I'm gonna be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree from me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with the loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
Now from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberly.
Welcome to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberly. New Horizons Healthcare is expanding. The not-for-profit community-based Family Health Center recently opened a new location at Valley View Mall in Roanoke. And with that new location comes an emphasis on women's health. Nurse practitioner Terry Gibson is here to tell us more about the Well Women Care. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And why did New Horizons decide to open Well Women Care?
I think it was a service that they wanted to expand on. It, specifically, women's health had not been focused in the past. It's offered a new service.
So that is a very important service at this community. You probably can see that firsthand. The need for it.
I've been in the community for several years.
Have you? And so this was something obviously you are taking part in. But tell us, what kind of need is there for a facility that serves women?
I think improving access to any women's health care and well women, preventative visits, but also having same-day access.
Yes.
If you have a problem or a concern, it's very important.
To be able to be seen right away, isn't it? Yes. Do you cover all different aspects of women's health?
Right now, we are not doing prenatal care.
You're not. Okay.
We have plans to expand in the future. We're doing probably pregnancy confirmation.
Okay.
But we can do any other type of well woman care.
All right. Expand on that. Like what services you do offer specifically?
Contraception, screening for sexually transmitted infections, your yearly well woman exam, any problem-focused visits, and we will soon be adding the colposcopy, which is a follow-up procedure for the evaluation of an abnormal pap smear.
I didn't know that. That's excellent to be able to offer that to women. Very good. We are talking with nurse practitioner Terry Gibson of New Horizons Healthcare about the Women's Wellness Center. Can any woman seek treatment there?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no...
We take all insurances, private and government-funded health insurances.
Okay.
We also take women who have no insurance. There's a sliding scale, and fee for service. Anyone's welcome to come apply.
Okay, that sounds really good. That was one of my questions about the insurance, because I do think it stops a lot of people if they aren't insured, because we know how expensive medical care can be. So providing them a sliding scale, I assume based on their ability to pay is
Based
how
on
you
the
are.
income, yes,
So
ma'am.
they can come in and get the services that they need and can afford.
Yes.
So that's very encouraging. And then where is the Women's Wellness Center if they're looking to get to it?
We're located at our new Valley View office.
So right by the mall? Not in the mall?
Not in the mall.
Mall,
It's
okay.
kind of on the Loop Road. We like to tell people it's right beside the Chinese restaurant.
Okay, so they can find you. And you did tell me it's on a bus route
It is.
as well. So they would be able to do that. Do they need an appointment?
It's better if you call to make an appointment, just for your convenience. But yes, please.
Okay, very good. That's nice to know. We are talking with nurse practitioner Terry Gibson of New Horizons Healthcare about their Women's Wellness Center. And then just for some background, how many patients can you see? And are there plans to expand the New Horizons Women's Wellness program?
We have the ability to see probably between 15, 18 patients a day.
A day?
And then again, right now we're building the service and planning on adding on new, new procedures, expanding the services. So
To offer even more.
Even more.
That's really nice to have. I'm so glad that we're helping these women out. I think part of the problem is women, we tend to be the caregivers and not the caretakers. But what can women do to help improve their health and take care of their health so that they don't have to always...
Well, I think that probably the most important thing is getting a baseline early.
Okay.
With a healthy diet, a balance of, diet and exercise. When you start adolescence, we look at things like protecting your menstrual health, and if you're to need things like contraception, protecting your sexual health with self-respect and, developing healthy relationships. Then you want to make sure you're in the best health you can be when it comes time for you to be of childbearing age, and preparing for pregnancy, and in between your childbearing, and if you were to start into menopause, probably one of the most important things with menopause is stabilizing or controlling your if there are any chronic health problems. And particularly protecting yourself against osteoporosis and protecting yourself against bone health.
So a lot of that sounds, I'm not sure, but is it diet related? And do you help educate the public with this? Because I think probably some of the problem is that we don't have all the information. And, if we were relying on schools, they're not going to teach you, how to eat healthy meals all day and stuff. Do you guys help with that?
We do. We have extra services. We have care coordination. We have patient education, and we do a lot of extra teaching with, starting out with a healthy, balanced diet. Because we offer additional services. We have like a pediatric program that gets the young girls started.
Okay, very good. So speaking of pediatrics, what age groups do you see? Can a girl come? Does she have to have a mother with her if she's a young girl? Or how do you recommend that gets handled?
That varies from state to state. And of course, in Virginia, my preference would be they would come in with an open, honest relationship with their mother. Yes. But they can seek contraceptive care.
Okay.
without parental approval.
Oh, okay.
But some young women are just having concerns with their menstrual cycle.
Right.
And or some if they have a concern about their growth, or they don't feel like they've started their menstrual cycle when they should.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful that you offer those opportunities. You touched on the other end of the spectrum where I'm at with the osteoporosis. And so as women age and hit the menopausal, I think sometimes it's a matter of, I'll tell you, getting even just a bone density. They're all very expensive tests. Do you help the women with things like this in case they may be an at-risk person? Can you help them with the osteoporosis as
We
well?
do help with osteoporosis screening, as well as mammograms for uninsured women.
Wonderful. So I think you're encouraging kind of all ends of the spectrum here to come, and
We take all ages.
all ages. I love that. And I think that's something that the community needs to be not only be aware of, but take advantage of.
Yes.
So we are encouraging all the women who listen to our program or watch our program to come and visit you. If they have any concerns, make an appointment, come and talk to you, get the information that they're looking for. And if you will evaluate them to see, do you give them a starting physical or something just when they come in? What can they expect on their first visit?
Most women, if they're due, women should have an annual gynecological exam yearly, beginning about age 21.
Okay.
And then that should continue even through menopause.
Okay. That is so helpful. I think, spreading the word and encouraging people that this is a service that they can easily take advantage of, that you will work with them and that they don't have to worry about it. So thank you so much for all that you do and for coming in and for helping us educate the community.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you. And we will have the New Horizons Healthcare contact information in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecondAct.com. And when we come back, Virginia's Blue Ridge is becoming known as a cycling destination. After the break, we meet an Olympian who is bringing a competitive cycling program to Roanoke College.
Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with a loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm gonna be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree from me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Once again from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberly.
Welcome back to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberly. Shelley Olds is an Olympian, a professional cyclist who has raced all over the world, and now she's adding coach to her resume. Olds had a stellar soccer career at Roanoke College. She was named to both regional and conference all-star teams, and she's in the Roanoke College Athletic Hall of Fame for her achievements in soccer and cycling. She joins us today to talk about her new role as coach of Roanoke College's new competitive cycling program for men and women. And thank you for being here, Shelley.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So you did graduate from Roanoke College. What is it like being back, and where have you been in between?
A lot of places, actually. No, it's great to be back. It's a lot of the same people. My old soccer coach is still here coaching. Wonderful. The athletic director was at the time that I went to Roanoke College, the men's soccer coach. Now he's the athletic director. So it just feels like family coming back always. Love the campus. The campus has evolved a lot. There's a lot more buildings and beautiful athletic facility and fields. and it makes me kind of jealous, I'll be honest.
Oh, sure.
But it's really nice to be back. It's like home.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
So anyway, you have been an athlete most of your life, and then just how did that translate into how did you get involved with cycling?
Okay, yeah. So when I graduated from Roanoke in 2003, my parents had been living, I'm from Massachusetts originally, but they moved to California while I was in college. Okay. So I went out to California, just kind of hoping, okay, what am I going to do after college? I wanted to continue playing soccer, but I didn't have a team. I didn't know anybody. It was kind of like, I got to get working right away. So I started working full-time as a department secretary at Kaiser Permanente, a hospital. So it was a 9-to-5 job, which was good job, good money, but it was not really me, I guess. I'm not like a 9-to-5 person. But so I, in order to stay in shape, I had no competitive team to play with anymore, which is what I love truly. So I was running. I was training for a marathon to keep in shape and have like a goal, which I need to train. Of course. So I was training and I got Achilles tendonitis, which was so debilitating. Or I just kept running through it, right? So eventually you can't even walk. So I had met a guy at the time that I started dating, and he was heavily into cycling, as was everybody in California. Okay. I mean, it was everywhere, every weekend, some kind of racing, mountain bike, cyclocross, track. There was a local velodrome and road. So he pushed me to do it, and I fell in love with it, to be honest with you. He first just built me like a real simple bike, and he said, here, just ride this, ride it to work. So I started commuting to work, and then I started commuting faster to work. And then I started trying to commute faster to work. You know, I could try to see how fast
you were enjoying it.
Right. And, and it was competitive for me. And then having a different race every weekend gave me like a goal every week to train for something specific, which was really like, I loved that. It was so inspiring at the time. So I got into cycling that way. And then my husband, he became my husband. Okay. He told me, you should go try to be in the Olympics. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, that's a pipe dream. But there's a local velodrome where I lived, and it's kind of a niche sport. There's not velodromes everywhere in the country. So if you have one and you can train on one, you can potentially get pretty good at it. Okay. And not a lot of people in the country can. So I started training for that, and I loved it, and I got better and better at it. And I became friends with a woman that is now the manager and owner of the Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024 professional women's team that's here. Her and I met in California. She came along with me and we said, what do we need to do to make it to the top? What do we need to do to race overseas? What do we need to do? And we figured it out. We didn't get support from anybody, not the national team, not anybody, just the local community. We would do fundraisers at the track while we were racing, and my parents would donate like hamburgers and hot dogs, and we'd get beer donated and we'd sell it, we'd sell it and we'd do a race. And so that got me overseas to race. She came with me and we raced on our own without any idea of what we were getting into. And I got some results. It took a while. Like one time I flew all the way to Australia and I didn't make the final. Like I didn't qualify in the first week. Right. So it's like, it was very hard, but we kept at it. And then I got that one result, and that one result, the national team noticed me, and then they took me on. So it all kind of happened with this like pipe dream.
What was the length of time when you very first started to,
2000, probably 2005, 2006, I really kind of started racing. And then I went to the Olympics in 2012. But we started racing in the World Cups in 2008.
That's very condensed. Yeah. And your heel didn't bother you anymore with the cycling?
Because it's non-weight bearing. We can talk about that later, but cycling is such a great sport because with an injury, you can still do a lot of things. With knee injury, because it's non-weight bearing, right? So
And it's an excellent, we were just talking about, you can continue as long as you're in shape to any age. It doesn't have to be at a competitive level. It can simply be for exercise and camaraderie and things to do. As something to do.
You don't even need to be in shape really, because you set the limits of how hard you want to go, right? And now there's so many indoor trainer type things that you can just be alone, but virtually with other people, and set the intensity to whatever you can handle, and you do what you can.
Well, you mentioned you picked up cycling, is it at 26 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know how to ride a bike at that time? And I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, competitive is definitely different than recreational. And had competitive cycling ever crossed your mind at that time?
Absolutely not. And
Okay.
to be completely honest with you, I never rode a bike growing up. In Massachusetts, we just didn't. I played soccer, so when we were training or when it was off season, I was running or I never rode a bike. It just wasn't that big in Massachusetts. So I didn't know it existed. I didn't know it was like such a huge thing as it was. But so when I found it, I was like, this is like limitless. Yes. You could do all different downhill, BMX, mountain bike long, mountain bike short, everything.
That sounds really, I know people have been doing it in the woods and, there's off trail and all kinds of things. Yeah. So that's wonderful. And we are talking with Olympian Shelley Olds about her new role as coach of Roanoke College's new competitive cycling program for men and women. Yeah. So you climbed the ranks for competitive cycling quickly, World Cup, the Olympics, traveling all over the world. Do you have a favorite cycling accomplishment?
I do. It would be winning the Giro d'Italia, a stage of the Giro d'Italia, which is the women's Tour de France. At the time, it's the longest stage race that women have. It takes place in Italy. We travel all around Italy for 10 days. Like you race, you move by car to another hotel, you race, you move. So you see
how many total miles?
Total miles. Probably 500 or something like that. Yeah.
In 10 days.
Yeah. Maybe more than that.
Yeah, so you did at least 50 miles a day, generally?
Yeah, for sure. So it'd probably be about 70 miles a day. Yeah, the races, long races.
Okay.
And it was right before the Olympic Games, and I had a really tough time qualifying for the Olympic Games. It shouldn't have been that tough, but I faced a ton of adversity, which is one of the things that helped me be who I am today and be able to guide the athletes on the Roanoke College cycling team. I think I'll be able to help them because of the adversity that I went through. So the year of the Olympic Games, I was doing awesome. I qualified for the long team. So you have to be on the long team the year before to make the final cut and they don't select the team till like a month before the Olympics. So the year before I'm on the long team, I'm like ranked 5th in the world. I'm getting results against the best riders in the world. So everything's going perfectly. March of that year, I crash in a race and I break my wrist. And so I can't ride, I can't race, I can't keep accumulating points, nothing. So I'm on this indoor trainer with boards up to here so that my cast can be on the things. I'm riding 4 hours on a trainer like every day. It's just driving me crazy. And I'm watching all these other races and all these other Americans get points and get qualification, like get their way to the, and I'm like, it's over. I'm never going to make it to the Olympics. But I come back and the first race I do is a World Cup and it's in China. And it's flat, so it's for sprinters, which I was. And so I'm in my cast still, or like it's a splint now or whatever. And so I'm racing and I win. And it's an automatic qualifier for the Olympic Games. And so I'm ecstatic. I'm like, this could never have happened. I can't believe this happened. And I win by this much.
Of course.
So I finished and I'm like so excited, call my parents. I made it. I qualified for the Olympics. No. They changed the Olympic qualification criteria like the day after we can't have 2 people qualify the same way. We're rewriting the criteria based on this new criteria. You haven't qualified yet. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, perfect. So I continue on and I'm still racing and we're coming to this Giro d'Italia, which is the race before the Olympic Games. And it's against all the best riders in the world. And I go in and they make the selection before the race starts. They make the final selection and I make the team. They announce me as one of the 4 riders to go to the Olympic Games. And I'm ecstatic and I'm there racing and I'm like, and then I get a call like right before, I'm in Italy, they're in the USA. 2 people are arbitrating against my selection that they deserve my spot and I don't. So only in America can you do that for the Olympic qualifying team. Can you say, no, I deserve this spot versus that person? So 2 people did that. So now a lawyer needs to be hired to represent me in court. I'm trying to race thinking, oh my, do I need to be in this court? Like, who's going to represent me? They said, don't worry, we selected you. We will defend our selection. Okay. So they come in, they try to make all these things up about why they should be. And meanwhile, I'm like top 5 in the world and I've been beating the best sprinters in the world. So it's like, like going crazy. So I race on the 4th of July in the Giro d'Italia. It's a super hard race. We're coming into the final and it's a field sprint. And all the best riders are like lined up on this side of the road in a lead out train. And I'm over here by myself with one rider of mine who's never in the sprint. She's a climber. She doesn't like to sprint. And she's like there with me. And I'm like, just hold the pace. Like, just hold the pace of them. We got this, right? So I'm just as long as she's in front of me, I'm conserving energy. So the lead out train's over here and we're over here and she's holding the same pace as them. And I jump and I win by like a lot just because I was clean out of the busyness of all this. And I got this win, hands up, and like the world champion, the German national champion, all in the picture with me with this Giro d'Italia big banner behind it. It's like my most memorable. So and at that point, all I had to say was, do I qualify now?
Yes. Very good. Well, we're talking with Olympian Shelley Olds about her new role as coach of Roanoke College's new competitive cycling program for men and women. And so just getting into the college part, briefly tell us about starting the cycling program and why is it the right time for Roanoke College to start this program?
It's the right time because Roanoke College has raised it's very prestigious, I think, in the world of NCAA Division III sports, just because of the facilities that they've built and everything. It's a beautiful area for cycling. It's top notch in the country, in the world, I would say. Having been all over the world, I believe that. But we are starting from scratch.
Okay.
So we've never had a cycling team. In all the other colleges around the country, it's very strange because their title is varsity or club. So it makes it sound like they're not recognized as like NCAA.
Right.
So I want to change that. I want to make
that's great.
Yeah, I'd like cycling to be recognized as just as big a sport as soccer or football even, and I think we can do that if we make it very professional, right? We show that we support them in the same way that professional teams support their riders.
Very good. And what is the most important thing you hope to teach the young men and women on your team? And can anyone or of any age benefit? And I think we've kind of mentioned that. So tell us a little bit just specifically about your team and how much time you spend training as well.
Oh, I don't spend very much training at all. I spend all my time working for the team now. But the most important thing I can teach them based on what I've learned in my athletic career is, how to handle adversity, be humble in the sport, be grateful, and be a part of a team. I think it's easy in cycling to think of yourself as an individual because a lot of it does come down to individual results, but it is a team sport, and I think we are building this as a team, so everybody needs to do their part to make us as successful as possible.
That sounds perfect. Thank you so much for being here today. We will have Shelley's contact information in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecond-act.com, and we'll be back to wrap up the show after this.
Kathy's wardrobe provided by Cabby stylist Darlene Marshall. See the styles in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecond-act.com.
In a region known for its beautiful mountain surroundings, our vibrant arts community makes the Allegheny Highlands a more colorful place to live and visit. Our passion for the arts is endless, and it's uniquely Allegheny.
I want to thank Terry Gibson and Shelley Olds for joining us today. Terry told us how New Horizons Healthcare is making women's routine healthcare more accessible, and Shelley is using her second act to start a new cycling program at Roanoke College. I'm Kathy Heberly. Join us next week for another edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act.